Well, greetings and salutations. I was going to start you somewhere else, but I'm not going to start you at that location. I'm going to start you from right here because I want to give you a fairly detailed look at where we are today. Some of you may have already picked it up. We've done a vlog here before, but not really that great, and we're going to actually take you to some very nice spots this morning. Before we start this morning, I just want to let you know this is known as a grandfather surf break in Barbados. It will hold the biggest wave in the island. However, it is a place where you get a lot of soul surfers, people who do not come to struggle and fight for waves and stuff, just come and take a soul ride. So when you're coming down here, anyone that's coming here to surf, come with that attitude. Please do not come down here to be aggressive or to be competitive, because that is not what this wave is about. So just want to mention that, and also do that because for the old timers that are familiar with this break and that come here all the time, I want you to have respect for them because this is their break. So start up with that early o'clock. Anyhow, we're at Duppies surf break, what we were going to be calling Duppies. All of our references to here will be Duppies today. That's because we were painting that picture for you. A lot of cleanup has gone on here in front of this section, which is allowing us to take in visibility from on top of the cliff. Today is quite sizable, as in if it's related to like a south coast swell. It's very small for out here, but we're going to take you through on that in a minute, talk a little bit about our past experiences up here and a little bit of stuff from how it jogs the memory for me and maybe for others as well. When you make cool out spots up here, great for dunk season because the dunks all around here. You can get some dunks. You can see there's also some tamarind trees here as well, so maybe a whole some tamarind on a few occasions as well. Alright, so we're looking from here around to Harris's Point, which is just around the corner. You can't see it from here. We will see better of it in a minute. And then beyond that will be Maycox and work its way through Hangman's Bay and across by the cement plant, etc, Moontown. That gives you a bearing of where we are. But we're going to do something very different today because we can call this one of the hidden treasures and beaches of Barbados. We'll talk a little bit more about it as we're working our way down, but we don't want to start off the morning with too much stress. Talk about it a little later on. Alright, so we want to say our serenity prayer because we're going into an environment that I have not actually been into for 30 plus years. So we wanted to say our serenity prayers. We're making our way in that direction. If you'd like to join us, please do. All others will be back with you in a few moments' time. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Your will, not ours, be done. Amen. As we're on top of here, I'm going to paint a little picture for you of what happens out here. The wind out here is big. It's going to be breaking right there, but where those bushes are, further out, of course. One line directly down into where you're seeing like a churn up of sand there in the center of the camera right now. That is where the left that will come from down the outside reef will work its way in, and they will collide in the general center there. The left has been surfed before. I've seen it surfed before. I've never surfed it. Very fast, so, and very hard to get out there without a boat. Really need a boat for that. And the right in here, well, definitely, as I said before, grandfather swell, but this is probably, I would say, the most dangerous surf in the world. Talk a little bit more about that, but I just want to draw out the different lines. Generally, when we're looking at that section out there, we're seeing 3 or 4 lines, 5 lines coming in. We're also seeing the outside reef at Maycox Bay. That would be what you're seeing in the distance over there. That's the reef. Well, that's actually a reef that goes in by Harris's Point, but then beyond that is the outside reef of Maycox Bay, so you can pretty much determine the outside reef at Maycox will have a little swell at the moment. You can see the swell here. Alright, so we're going to make our way down. I went down here earlier on just to have a look and see, and I'd actually planned to start the video today from where I'm going to take you now. However, because of having this kind of area here where you're going to be parking and stuff, and what our stories are going to be talking about a little bit, will give you an enlightenment of to what out here is all about and stuff. And also it will give you an understanding of the descent you have to make to get to this beach, and then even more so what energy and stamina you have to get to the actual waves. I'm working my way down sideward on this here. I'm just pretty much going to be pointing all over, concentrating on where I'm going, because there is a lot of loose mud out here. I haven't had rain for a little while, very dry and very nothing really holding it as such. So I'm making my way down. Saw the gentleman did the clean up here. I forgot to get his name. Ex-surfer as well, still surfer, but doesn't surf as much obviously, but he's from the very early 80s kind of era. So we talked a little bit about here and some of the situations we've seen and swell sizes and stuff. He does clean up out here along with some of the guys that actually surf out here as well. So kudos to them, thanks for the energy. So there's the spot I was going to bring you to. as you will see, it's the perfect spot to start a video from. But don't mind, we're going to incorporate it in our video and let you see. Now today we're not going widescreen because I think we have enough room in front of us and between us and other objects, so we can sort of like stay on E1X rather than go to a wider screen. That way then we can take it in a little better detailed. Alright, so this is where I want to start you from. This is a spot we used to pull out on many moons ago, as we used to watch you surf and stuff here. Come down here and watch you guys surfing, etc. But from here is also a perfect spot I can explain to you about getting out here in case you are coming to the island. First of all, I will come with a knowledgeable local if you are. Get your feel away first, and then if you want to come back, come back. But I will come with a knowledgeable local. You're going to be going to that beach, which we're going to show you the descent to in a few minutes. From there, you're going to be pushing off and you'll be paddling out to that area. As you can see, it's very far out. You're also going through an area where there are no swells coming in. So you have a lot of turbulence in this general area, and then you will have the swells breaking outside. So this is a rip that goes right along the cliffs down there, right down into Harrison's Point, which you're pretty much seeing in the furthest point that you're seeing there. Just around that corner is Harrison's Point itself. So we're mentioning that because what we want to explain is when you're paddling out, there are two options. The option that we prefer to, and that would be me, myself, and the guys who used to be in the group that I used to hang out with, Ashley and Trot, etc., would be to come under this cliff, paddle your way through the rip here, and time it perfectly. If you don't time it perfectly, you're going to get blown away. You see the set, like the swell that's just about to the right hand side. Alright, so that, and then you'll notice there's one just to the left hand side. There's a channel that runs straight out through there. You can actually see it in the bubbly effect there in the reef itself. However, you mistime that, you're just going to get washed into here, which means you're going to take a battering from every swell that's coming in, because you're not be able to straight paddle out through there very easily. I can assure you of that from my own experience out here. Also, this is a deep water break. You have to be very careful. If you find yourself with your feet touching the bottom out here to push off at the bottom, you're in a lot of trouble, because you have feet and feet and feet above you, because this is a very, very deep water, and the bigger the swells get, the further out it breaks. This is non-exaggeration. The distance between that white water and those guys there right now will be beyond them to where the swells will be breaking. We're seeing it barely begin to form a little bit of a swell there just in front of them, to the right of them. That's where we normally taking off and breaking from there, and actually further up inside, further to the north of the island. The closest place here to monitor swells is at Cowpen, which you'll see. That runs a sort of swell that goes from the land out into the middle of the ocean. It's a reef that's out there that catches all the north swells and east swells as well too. That's outside of Archer's Bay and Clough's Bay. That's where you'll find that. And that you can't, is the first time you'll really know big or get an indication of how consistent sets are and stuff. So when you're out here, it can go literally from a head high to a triple overhead. This is not a joke. I would say in a set or two. I would even say 2 sets, not immediately, but a lot of us, me for example, who got run from out here because of the massive size that I almost lost my life on. Not that I was hit to bottom, but I wouldn't have come back up if I had been hit. A lot of us tend to prefer to surf it with the outgoing swell, not the incoming swell, because here is prone to be sitting out there, and it double or quadruple, triple, quadruple in size in a matter of a couple of sets. And as you can see, you can't jump on a wave and paddle into the shoreline here. So no matter what you do, no matter how big it gets, the waves are going to stop where you're seeing that white water right now, and that white water, that's where the waves are going to stop. The rest of it's all paddling. So between that white water and where you are is nothing what you call big mega ocean bombs. So I'm not trying to frighten you, I'm trying to make you alert, and I'm trying to make you exercise caution. So don't come out here and think you're going to just go and challenge out here if it's really big with a north swell. Be very, very careful. Remember, if you lose your board out here, it's not coming to the shore. It's going to get caught in the inside here. It's going to go into the current that runs from here, and it's going to run right down into that bay beyond there, which is all cliff. If you lose your shot cord and you have to battle out here, look for someone, call for someone. It is you have to be no joke, a highly trained swimmer to be able to come into this area here and swim from outside there through here, through the currents when the swells are big. Because remember, when the water comes in here with these swells, it's hitting this inside section and it's running along that cliff. So this turns into what you got to call like an expressway of current. So your board will go, and you can also drown out here so easily. There's nothing to hold on to. There's no rocks to stand on. There's no reef that you can stand on if you're getting close enough. There's nothing until you get to the actual shore. So please, please, air of caution. If you come out here, do not come out by yourself. If you come out by yourself, be prepared to meet your final day, because that can quite easily happen if it's very big. Alright, today, as you said, it's a small day. It's about head high, just a little bit overhead maybe. As we can see from this set, it's coming in now. Tide is dropping off. I always remember surfing here in mid-tide. High tide is too much buoyancy and bumping and stuff. within the inside section to paddle out. So I don't tend to surf that. And then low tide, you find the swells here and the channel closing out quite a bit as well. And sometimes you actually do have to paddle out from the beach and make your way out around the white water if it's low tide, especially because you start to lose the channel that's there, because as the below section gets shallower and shallower, the swells tend to break across areas where it would normally be like a trough where they would not break. So that also can happen as well. So mid tide I would recommend for here. Mid to falling tide, I wouldn't go mid to high, because just in a matter of minutes if you go mid to high, you're going to be facing high tide. You really don't want to be out here at high tide. It's just too bumpy. There's no real good walls on the waves. When I say not real good walls, they're big walls, but it's hard to even catch them because they're quite swelly and stuff because of the high tide. So I would say a mid to low tide for sure. Alright, so I'm going to take you to the beach now. I couldn't do any of this. We did a live from on top of the hill a couple of years back in a series that we call, I think, Surf Breaks of Barbados or something like that. I haven't put in for a long time, so that may be not the right name, but we certainly post it as the right name. But we want to put this into that as well too. We want to also put, say, 4K resolution, because we're not limited by signal. We can actually do this here. It's going to be a challenge. I'll tell you right now, it'll be a challenge for me going down on it, and it's just because it's pretty steep, as you will see. But this is where you would descend from the cars normally. If you didn't walk around where we went, you would come around this footpath here, and you make your way down where we're going now. So, as we always like to do, we're bringing you to the location. We're going to let you experience it. We don't want to bring you somewhere and not let you see the full thing. We don't want to show you snippets of it. You want to see what you're going to be facing. We want to share with you what you're going to be facing and the beauty that lays below. If you decide whether this is something that you want to do, if you're not actually going to be surfing here or not. What I will say is, I said it in our first vlog here, I will say it again, even although I pretty much received a threat on it, I will mention, you do not want to bring your partner here, mainly I would say a lady, because ladies are sort of like subject to more to be targeted than men. But I wouldn't bring your partner here and leave them on this cliff or even on this beach. It is very lonely and very isolated. I wouldn't bring any valuables and leave them in your car whatsoever, because as you see, very lonely and very isolated. So word of caution, I wouldn't even bring two ladies and leave them on this beach. If I had a few friends who were leaving them, a few guys or a guy or whatever, I had a number of us that were surfing and we were going sessions or whatever, fine. But I wouldn't bring a lady here. If you're going to come and surf here and your lady's just going to catch some sun, maybe you could put her, let her off at Holtung Beach or somewhere by Haywards Beach or something that's in proximity, and let her spend the time on that beach until you come back, because down here, not safe at all. Definitely not safe. I'm not to say that it could not be safe. It is not safe, period. You know, coming down here right now, I was going to put a live up first and say this is where we were, but because the way we speak the truth, whenever we have the opportunity to say anything, we say it. You know, we always say to you, we're not going to bring you to a rose bush and say, oh, go over there and pick that flower, or go over there and smell that flower, without saying, but be careful of the thorns, because our journey is about giving you information that we work by, stuff that we have come to utilize for our own safety. Alright, so that's the angle, very slippery. You'll see a lot of tambourine leaves here as well too. So these are going to be a little bit more treacherous as well, because if you don't have any right skid wear, even if you have any right skid wear, which would be of course the right 4x4s, you could still slide quite easy on this accumulation of leaves. Right now there's not a huge amount of them, but they can get a lot heavier. So you have to be careful of down here when you're coming down, and also the looseness of it as well. You'll see some ropes are tied on here to help people on this point here, because you can see how slippery it can get. So this is definitely somewhere. Utilize the ropes are here. Test them first, of course, to make sure nobody's setting up, and then utilize them from there on in. If you do use them, you don't have to use them, but I have equipment, and to be honest with you, I rather err on the side of caution, period, anyhow. So I'm going to hold the ropes, and I don't mind. It's not a problem for me really to do so. Alright, so two ways to come down where we're going, or you can go down the slightly less skiddy looking way, which is around here and down the rocks. So we would go like right less skiddy way, although we could have used the rope and gone right through, just to let you see the other option. You see me rope, you see the other option now. So as I said in the beginning, this break has to be respected of all the breaks. This is not a break where you come to compete. If you're coming to compete, come to compete with yourself, but come out here with the understanding that this is a laid back break. It's called like almost like a soul surfer break. Ooh, I'm swinging here. This is interesting. I would say use the ropes for sure. But anyhow, I'm down, thankfully, and without any sliding or any major problems, I'm down now. So you will come down using the ropes. I would definitely recommend doing so. They're just over here. I would use them as guiders to come down, and then come right the way around here. I just came down the other way, define myself, and put myself in a probably a more awkward situation if I come on the ropes. But then again, you can now see why you don't do what you do, and maybe hopefully you go the other way. Alright, so we're down at beach level now. Over the years, I've seen so much changes here. Like, I mean, this is where we used to come whenever there was a north swell for the incoming swell or the outgoing swell. Not really when the swell was fully on, because we had to stop further up on the west coast, but this is where we had to come. But we never came here alone. There's always 3, 4, 5 of us. We used to always come and surface break because of all the reasons that I explained to you earlier on. I have never brought any of my partners, and none of the fellas I surf with have ever brought any of their partners and put them on this beach. The beach used to be a lot more sand here, a lot more coverage over the years now. As you can see, the high tide is coming right up. No sand really in here whatsoever. So there's really nowhere anyhow for them to lie. As I said before, I wouldn't leave them on the cliff either. You know, not unless there are a couple of ladies together or a couple of people together. It's not somewhere you want to come and put down a towel, lie down and don't look around you. So you won't be comfortable anyhow, but not only not be safe. Alright, so we're going to be right down to beach level. That's what we want to do for you, so you can understand, get a feel of what this paddle is out for. Because from the cliff, you really don't feel it. Alright, so look at where the guys are now. I'm going to get up on top of rock because I can hardly even see them. Let me look for more of a vantage point, but I don't want to go too high because I want to let you understand what the elements are like between here and the break itself. So, alright, so you can see the guys over there, guy in a white shirt, dead center of the camera, dead center itself. So you have to paddle out from here, utilizing the cross currents, etc. that are in this area here. I'll paddle under the cliff, which is least affected, and then out through the channel, which is approximately center of the camera. That will move a little bit depending on the size of the swells. However, when it's really big, you have to be really careful, because you get caught out here by one set, you're going to get caught by all, you can get washed right into the main set. So I would follow whoever's out that day, because it all depends on different circumstances as to how you go out here. But in general, the paddle out is through the actual channel. As I said before, where that wave is breaking right now, that's where the Duppies right will end, and that's where the left coming from the below outside reef that we saw earlier will end as well. So they will come together in that general area. We were just around by that bush here in the center of the camera, just around there on that plateau. You can see the plateau there. That is where we were just now, where we were showing you the elevated view about this break. Little caves, little backtracks. If you have not seen it and you all would like, please have a look at our Maycock Bay, or in depth look at Maycock's Bay, where we walked from on top of the cliff where you park. We walked down into Maycock's Bay and we went to the north, right up to Harrison's Point on the cliffs and stuff. And you'll see all the little, what we like to call fisherman tracks. There are tracks that run along these cliffs. There's one right here that goes up into this cliff as well. That will go into the backdrop area, either up by the cart road on the top, or further along the cliff as you work your way towards Harrison Point. Point I'm trying to make is that because you're here sitting down and looking behind us at where we came down, does not mean it's the only entrance to this location. There's also a couple more that come down through the back section there. One that comes over the ridge that comes down, and also comes right down through the trough itself. So there are many ways of getting to you here on this beach without you even knowing that anyone is near you. And I'm not saying anybody's going to come here to attack you. I'm just saying this would be a vulnerable beach to leave one person on. A vulnerable beach to leave any lady on, as far as I'm concerned. Again, that's only the way I live. I'm not telling you how to live your life, and I'm not telling you that your lady is not capable of taking care of herself on this beach or anything, or your partner or whatever, but it's not somewhere I advocate to bring someone to sit, especially if they're going to be lying down and catching the sun while you're out there in the ocean. And to be honest with you, to see anyone surfing from here is virtually impossible when it gets big, because the size of the swells, you can't see the swell behind. As you can see quite clearly here, we cannot see the guys behind. So the beach is not a place for spectator, not a place to leave anyone for sure. Alright, I would just utilize it as a jumping point or a coming in point. Actually, it's the only jumping point, the only coming in point you want to, unless you're kind of for Shrouds Bay or somewhere up, way up in the north. So that is what we just came down. Have a look at it carefully, see how steep it is. Realize that majority of that there is on more than a 45-degree angle. So that's especially where the ropes are. It's all loose turf, a lot of leaves and stuff on the ground, so you sincerely do not want to be fooling around out here when you're coming down. When it's wet, it's even more treacherous, because that turns into a sliding ring. So judge what you're doing well, look at what we're showing you now. So next time to the swell, is it worth coming down here for that risk to go out through lineup to get into possible problems, the channel to paddle for an hour inside the rip trying to get back in here? Because remember, that rip is running from north to south, so you're coming in from where you're coming in on the waves and where you're paddling in on the waves, and the waves drop you there in the middle there. You then have to paddle from there here through some stringent or very strong rip that's going from north to south. We painted it pretty closely. I haven't been on here for 30 years. I mentioned before what happened to me down here. You know, so I really haven't been back here. I surfed it once, twice after that, smaller. Bodyboarded it because I actually went into bodyboarding from surfing, and I actually bodyboarded here quite a few times. But again, that's probably my preference from mid to low tide as well, because it's a lot steeper and a lot easier to catch. But in general, high tide is certainly not the place that you really want to surf here. Go around the corner and check out Makeots, which is a much better high tide kind of break, or even further down the west coast if there's a big north swell. So that is our journey for you today. We want to bring you somewhere that we have not brought you before, somewhere that I wouldn't bring Jeanette in general. I would not bring Jeanette down here in general because it's just too lonely. I'm not, as I said, nothing has happened. A couple of little things have stirred my reason for being a little more to emphasize it more of how we need to exercise caution down here. But it's not something that's going to happen every time. I've been down here myself personally and I've never had any issue down here. But I know quite a few people have come down here and had some issues. Some were minor, some were a little bit more serious. But this is a place here that I'm going to rate. Now, we have never rated it before as a 4+. I can tell you, if you're not coming to surf here, I wouldn't recommend coming here, period. If you're coming here to come down to Yanni Beach to go out, fine. If you're coming here to lay down on the sand, which is not right now here anyhow, I would say that would be a definite no-no. Again, this is just our recommendation. I'm not telling you anything at all. All I'm saying is this is how we live and the code we live by. I was going to do a live vlog on top of here before I started. My concerns for doing a live vlog on top of here would be to let people know I'm here. So I'll do a live vlog when I've finished it. And that's only a security measure that I've put in place, or we've put in place, because of a response we had on a comment about not bringing our partner here on one of our past vlogs. But our journey is honesty and integrity. If we tell you that there's a reason to have caution on here, we would hope that you will understand it is sincere and the only is your best interest that's in our heart. So we want to make sure that you know what's happening here, okay? So be aware of that. Anyhow, this is not to be a controversial video or anything, because I know there's some surfers that will say, man, you're taking people to these secret spots. I started it off, and I've also said it in the middle of it. This is a soul surfer break. If you're coming here, come with the attitude of soul surfing, respecting the man next to you and looking out for the man next to you, because that man may save your life out here. Because I am telling you, I've been in life-threatening situations out here, one which did not actually threaten my life, but I know if I got caught by the wave, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. So you know, exercise caution, be friendly out here, don't come and be competitive, don't come and try to push anywhere around. These guys surf here on a selected few breaks, and that's because it is a soul surfer break. If you disrespect this break, if you disrespect these guys, your surf at Duppies will be a memorable one, but not for the right reasons. You have a blessed day, and as I said before, this is your climb down. This is a Journey 246. This is a presentation of my wife's and my journey with all of those that have joined us on it. We are not just two people, there are thousands of people that are known as the Journey 246 family. We're joining, we're similarly minded, we're all about peace and serenity and love and kindness and beauty, and therefore we're bringing you to another hidden treasure of Barbados. This is a hidden treasure, so basically respect it as that. Come and enjoy it if you want, come and surf. When you leave here, just leave everything, take everything with you. Do not bring bottles down here, leave them on the beach. Do not throw litter down here. Do not bring as unexpected of a human that's trying to follow the right way and follow the light. Have a blessed day. Love to you all from the Journey 246. And again, we're at Duppies. Okay, I'll put the name, you mentioned the other names in there, but this is called Duppies Break, and that's what we're covering today, as this is one of our hidden beach and treasures. Yes, it will be mentioned as that, but it is also one of our surf breaks, the island that are little known about. See you all later and have a blessed day. See you all.